Hello, happy Sunday. I am checking out today. I just had breakfast and a shower. I've been reading this morning and journaling. I'm not really looking forward to leaving this hotel. It's so comfortable and perfect in almost every way. So, that's okay. I am going to pack up today. I also need to plan the week. I also need to call Opes and the kiddo. So that's kind of what's on the plate. Packing up, I'm gonna wait until I get my laundry back from the launder. And so once that gets back, I'll start folding and packing. And it shouldn't take me long because things are pretty synced up at this point. But yeah, I'm just a little sad to go. I'm excited to go to Canggu, but what I keep hearing about it is that it's like very busy, like much more busy than here. It's like a big party city. It's a lot of Westerners, all of which does not appeal to me very much. But the reason that I picked the city is because of the coffee shop scene. Like there's supposed to be like lots of good coffee shops there. And it's also by the beach, and I really want to go to the beach. And they have a bunch of like beach clubs, which is like something that like we don't really have at home, like in the same way. So I wanted to try that, like experience that. Plus this is like more of a work week for me because it's the week that my book launches. So I'm gonna be needing to work more, much more. So I'm wondering if like maybe it would be more conducive even to that environment because it's like a big digital nomad city, and maybe I'll just kind of have some of that like energy in the air. Sorry about the bad lighting, I just am cozy. Something else I've been thinking about since being here is how intertwined we are with nature. Like at home, we try really hard to keep nature out. To like never let a bug in our house, to like not, to like control our yards and like landscape everything. But here it feels like it's like all intermingled. And even from what I've read, and like I could have this wrong, but from what I've read about like traditional Balinese homes, there's like a wall around your like yard or whatever, but then like each of the buildings inside don't have like walls, so it's like much more intertwined with nature. And I think there's something really healthy about that. And I think it makes sense, like if Hinduism's the main religion here, to think about how we like see ourselves as like part of each other, like we all belong to each other, we are all the same, that like nature wouldn't be as revolting, if that makes sense. And when I view my nature as like, like mice or lizards or bugs, that it's just kind of like part of life. Like, of course they live here. It's like their planet too. And I think there's something really good about that. And I think probably very environmentally friendly about that. So that's what I've been thinking about this morning. But now I'm gonna go call those boys, and I'll check back in later. So I'm about an hour and 15 minutes away from checkout, and
just finished planning the week, so I'm gonna go start packing. My laundry's not here yet, and I would like to I'd like to pack that, you know, not carry it separate, so I'm hoping it'll come soon-ish. It says before noon, but checkout's at noon, so. Also, I think Obes is gonna call again in just a second, so I'm gonna chat with him while I pack up. I hope. The first night I was here, I was really worried that I wasn't gonna be able to talk to Obes regularly. But then it's been a breeze since then, and now it won't let us call each other. Like, we're trying to call each other, and it just, like, mine's not even ringing. It's just, like, going immediately to, like, no service. And he says mine keeps going straight to voicemail when he calls me. So that's pretty sad, because it's, like, bedtime for him, so this is our last chance. So I was going to tell you the method to my packing madness is I'm a zone person. So the room's broken up into zones, and I clear a zone and then we work our way this way. So I'm starting in the bathroom with like toiletries and all of that, and then we'll do closet. I bet that's my laundry. Right back. Perfect timing. It's like my underwear drawer. I've had my shoes mostly in there, dirty clothes, and then like what I'm wearing today. And that's been really nice. But I'm about to pack it all up. Okay, we're down to our last category, which is like office stuff. The thing I have to think about right now is that my villa might not be ready when I get there. And so I might have to take my work to a coffee shop to do. So I want to have like a coffee shop bag. This backpack, when I came here, had collapsed into my larger like bag. And then I have like my bag that sits on top of my suitcase. So I'm gonna pack this one with all of the things that I might need before this afternoon, or even just like want for this afternoon. So I'm gonna do these guys, my iPad, my iPad charger, my remote battery, and my phone charger. clean out this bag of all of the like bits and bobs that kind of get tossed in really quickly. And then I'm gonna put my cards and my passport back into my wallet. If you didn't watch previous vlogs, basically I was keeping them separate because I realized I would be screwed if someone grabbed my whole bag and everything was together in one place. So my international driver's license, which I will not be using. The more that I've driven around Bali, the more just like mind blown I am at people who do drive the scooters, because it looks really difficult and really scary. So it is like 11:30. Checkout's at noon. I'm pushing it as long as I can because, again, I don't know if my villa is going to be ready, and my car here leaves at 12:30. So I'm checking out of the room at noon and then going straight to lunch just at the restaurant, and then leaving at 12:30. I still have obviously like what I'm wearing today, bug spray, sunscreen, that are not packed. So all my suitcases are open. And then I'll just put the sunscreen, bug spray into the suitcase and my pajamas, and then we're good to go. So I'm gonna just rest for like 30 more minutes. Probably, maybe read. Read would be like the choice I want to make, because I'd like to finish that book today. And I have to work later. Yeah, I think I'm gonna sit and read. But I'm gonna have to leave you here plugged in because I will scroll. Okay, so it is officially 11:45. I'm gonna go get changed, get ready, pack everything up. And I really wanted to finish my book before lunch, but because I wanted to take the new book for next week with me throughout the day, but then I have probably like 7 chapters left. They're short, but there's not time. I realized I can take it with me to lunch, and then I'll pack the new book in because I have 2 purse leg bags. So I'm gonna pack the new book in that, and then problem solved. Okay. So let's go. Okay, everything fit into those 4 bags, and it's time to go.
Maybe next trip, it is like a family trip, like
Yeah.
Alright?
I love that.
You should go with your family, and it will be nice and be more lovely.
Yeah.
So together you can enjoy all.
We made it. It was like an hour and a half drive. It was my same driver from the airport, but I made it to my new space, my new hotel. And it's like so beautiful. It's also very different. I want to like describe the difference to you, but maybe we should do a tour first, and then do the kind of comparison thing. All right, so you walk in, and here, let me make it bigger. This is the like living room area, kitchen, dining room. Then it has like its own pool, a little private pool moment. And then we walk in this way. This is like the living area. And then this is the bedroom, which this is the room, this is air conditioned. But then, so that's the bed. And then this is the view from the bed. Not bad. Not bad at all. And then this is the bathroom, which this is like outdoors. So that's like a tub, and like you can see the pool right there. And then shower, toilet. But yeah, you can see showers outside. So let's talk about differences. To be fair, Aduana, where I came from, specifically Aduana Sueta, has like been voted recently like #1 world's hottest hotel or something crazy like that. Like, it's like known for being an amazing hotel. So in some ways, like, you can't make a comparison, right? It's not fair. But at the same time, like, I'm gonna make some comparisons just because it's my experience with it. But pros, let's do like a little pros cons list. Pros to this one: the walk in here through that greenery is one of the most beautiful things ever. I don't think that will ever get old to me. I think we'll always find that joyful. I love having a private pool because it just feels like luxurious. I feel like I'll probably use it even more than I use the other one. I love all of the greenery all around. I like that the living space is like outside. I wish the bathroom, well, I'll get to the cons in a second. Really like I actually think I'm gonna like Canggu a lot. Everybody talked about how busy it was, but when we were driving through, it feels much more just like a city where people live instead of like a city where people go to visit. Like in Ubud, it felt a lot more like people lived out of the city and then came into work, and then tourists came in to tour. Here it already feels much more like, oh, people live and work here. And that's probably more my style as a tourist in general, is just kind of pretending like I live somewhere, which I found kind of difficult to do in Ubud. I felt like I had to do that either at the hotel or take like cars from like one location to another location, to kind of piece together a semblance of that, you know. It didn't quite feel like I lived there, you know what I mean? Unless I stayed at the hotel, which is also fine. Yeah, so I think in those ways, the biggest pros here are gonna have a private pool, having a walkability, being able to like walk out the front door and like go get coffee or go get something to eat. I also loved the hotel, especially loved the staff in Ubud, but at the same time, like, I felt a little bit like I lacked privacy because I would walk out the door and everyone was there, you know, like ready to help, and that's amazing. But at the same time, like, it wasn't like the most conducive to independence, you know what I mean? So I think that I'm kind of craving a little bit of more privacy, a little bit more solitude, which I think this place will provide more of. Also, let's get into some cons. It's not as like fancy, right? Like, it's like definitely like weathered, a little rougher around the edges. Like the pool, I feel like a private pool, but it doesn't look as clean as like the one at Aduana. Also, like, the only room that's air conditioned is like where you sleep, which I think would be fine if the bathroom was air conditioned, but like the bathtub, I can't imagine ever taking a bath outside in the heat, you know, especially with mosquitoes and stuff. I just can't fathom it. I also, like, when I was working, resisted going outside a lot if I had just showered, because I don't want to always have bug spray on or sunscreen on. But I don't think that's going to be like an option really right now, or like here. Other cons. Oh, it's definitely hotter here than in Ubud. Ubud, I had finally gotten used to the weather, and like 86 started to feel kind of cool to me. That's not really the case here. It feels very much like, it feels kind of like going from, if you're ever been in North Carolina, like going from Asheville, where you have like the fresh mountain air, to going down to like Charlotte, where it's just kind of like hot. The same temperature just feels very different. So, but I think because of that, I'll use the pool more, probably. They only serve breakfast. They don't serve lunch or dinner, which I anticipated that, which just means I, you know, I'll always have to go out to eat those meals, which I got a little spoiled, I think, just being able to not have to like think about where I was going to get my next meal from. I found that very comforting at the last hotel, because navigating in a foreign country can sometimes be just a little bit difficult. If you're having like a tired day or you have a lot of work to do, putting in that effort isn't always like worth it. And the only other con is just like, I miss my big closet at Anawana. Like, that's the closet right there, and the desk too. Like, those two spaces, I really loved the spaces that I had at Anawana. That, honestly, if I'm honest, that was the perfect hotel room in my opinion. Literally wouldn't change a thing. If for like just a standard hotel room, it was like a living dream. Couldn't have asked for better. It's kind of hard to go from that to not that. If I had come here first, it would have felt really magical. You know what I mean? It still feels magical. It's gonna be magical, but it'll be a different kind of magic. If you are looking to do a trip, I think you should go to Canggu first, and then go to Ubud and stay there, and then just like zen out for a week. And I think that would have been a really good order. Figure out what I'm gonna do with myself, because I need to edit the vlog. I would like to unpack. I'm a little worried about lizards. I'm like nervous to unpack because I don't want lizards to get into my stuff. And I don't know, this place doesn't feel closed up. Does that make sense? Like, it's like, I'm just like nervous that it's gonna, I guess we'll just kind of, I'm gonna like wait and see. I haven't seen a lizard that have been in here or anything. I wouldn't want to reach into my clothes and find a lizard. I just personally, it's not something I would enjoy. I'm sorry, it's just my face talking over and over. But I figured out what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to this place called La Brisa. It's a beach club, and they do a Sunday market, and the Sunday market ends at 4, so I want to make sure I get there, because this is my only chance, because I will leave before Sunday. So I'm gonna go to the Sunday market. I'm also gonna bring my work there, because it's like plenty of seating. I'm gonna get like a snack, camp out for a little bit, and just get some work done. And then I'm gonna leave unpacking till later, because I don't have to decide right now, and I won't. I refuse.
Yeah. Yes, miss. This is your bag, Canada?
Yes. Thank you. Back. I went to the beach club. I think it's like funny, the first day I'm in a new place every time. It's basically like training day where you figure out like what's hard, what's new, where you even are in relation to other things. And that's kind of what today's been for me. La Brisa was great. That was the beach club. I definitely could not work there. I think partially just because I'm still getting used to the heat and was so hot and lots of sounds all around. And also I think it's like the kind of work I'm doing. There's some work, like 'cause I'm editing the vlog, there's some work that is like sit up in public kind of work. That for me is like writing. It's scheduling things or doing logistics, working on a calendar, that kind of stuff. But then like there's work that's like sit on the couch or bed with like a cozy vibe work, and that is editing videos for sure. So I think I just wanted to come back here and do it from the room. Also, I'm gonna be honest, like I'm not thrilled with my hotel that I got. I can't decide if I'm gonna adjust to it or not. Often when I feel this way, I end up just kind of rebooking somewhere else because you know, you're paying for it, you should enjoy it, and if you don't enjoy it, why are you doing it, you know? But the problem I'm having with this is that like I often feel really guilty for doing that at the same time, which is like a really silly thing. But it is like a long time. Like a week is like a decent amount of time to be somewhere where you're like not comfortable. And I'm gonna be like launching my book here, and I want to like be able to focus, you know? And I'm just worried that I'm not going to be able to do that while I'm here. That was like the thing about the hotel in Ubud that was so nice, is that like there was somewhere that was always comfortable that I could go back to, because like traveling here for me is like pretty uncomfortable. Like it's just really hot. There's a lot of like walking, there's a lot of like navigating language barriers, you know, foods that are unfamiliar, which I love, all of that. Like all of that's great, but I think it's much easier to maintain a level of like productivity at work when there's somewhere to kind of call home. And I'm just kind of concerned that this isn't going to be that for me. And I think like the other thing that the reason I'm like tearing up is that this place, the room in here honestly smells like my grandma's house, like my dad's grandma's house. I don't know. I feel like the only reason I'm not switching is because, oh, come on. Hello? Yes. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, no problem. Okay. Bye. They're here to spray for the mosquitoes. I'm crying. It's embarrassing. Okay, so it was a really hard decision for me for some reason, but I decided to move. I just realized like I would never feel quite comfortable like showering. I would never feel really clean, just personally. And they also had to come in and spray my room with Raid and with my lungs. That really like scares me. We'll have a little chat about it when I can like calm down. I'm gonna go ahead and go call my car and check out. I feel really, well, yeah, we'll talk about it later, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Okay, we are in my new room. I guess I just want to talk about first, gosh, I'm so sweaty. I guess I first want to talk about how I'm feeling about changing. And I think I just felt like guilty. What I need in terms of comfort is so much more than like the people who live here. And I think it just makes me feel ungrateful, you know? I think that's it. And that's not like a fun feeling. But at the same time, I've just been in this situation before where I'm like, I am not going to be comfortable, and I'm not going to be able to like feel good until I figure this out. So quite frankly, the moment I walked in toward the elevator, I immediately felt better. I just knew like this is more what I need in terms of places to stay. It's nowhere near as nice as the one in Ubud. Like, it's just not like that. I think like that's just like how it's gonna be, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's okay. This is a completely different city. I got really spoiled with that place. At the same time, it's close to the elements. The shower, as not fancy as it is inside. You know, same for the toilet. There's a little balcony. It has no view. We're in the middle of a city, you know what I mean? It's like a different thing than like being able to go out into the country. However, we are on the beach, which hilariously, y'all, I didn't even look up where this place was. I knew it was on the beach when I booked it because I thought worst case scenario, like that'll be nice, you know? But, so I knew it was on the beach. I knew that my other hotel was like walkable to the beach, but friends, it was like not that far. Like, I called a car and it brought me here, and it was like just down the street. I could have walked. I'm glad I didn't, because all of my suitcases are really heavy and it would have been it would have sucked. But if I had known how close it was, I definitely would have walked. But yeah, I also am aware that like most of you, or a significant amount of you, and definitely my lovely husband, would have way rather stayed in the other place. This room is like super basic. It feels kind of like staying at a Holiday Inn. Also like not my thing, like not my preference, but it's, yeah, clean and air conditioned, and my bathroom is inside. The other thing is, I talked to you about like the way it smelled like my dad's house, which I think like wasn't a good place for me, wasn't good memories. And I realized the smell was bug spray. The Raid that they sprayed was like what their house smelled like. I'm glad to be out of that situation. And I also think I would have really had a hard time sleeping knowing that there was bug spray in my room, and that like if they didn't spray the bugs, that mosquitoes might bite me, which could give me dengue fever. Like, I just didn't want to deal with that, you know? But I'm justifying this for way too long. But I am grateful because the location of my old hotel was really good, and I was grateful for that. So this one is in the same kind of location, except for we're closer to the beach, and there's like full service here. Like, anything I could need, I can get. Yeah, so I think it's gonna be good. And I think the pools overlook the beach, if I'm correct. The only negative review that we got, that I saw in here, everybody said it was great, was that like at night you can hear the beach club next door, which like sounds pretty loud. But I have my noise canceling headphones, so worst case scenario, I'll have to use those. But best case scenario, I can be clean and cool and bug spray free at least once per day, hopefully twice, and able to really like sit here and work comfortably, without being like afraid of like having a flare up with my lungs, because that would really suck. But anyway, I didn't used to have this many feelings about making decisions like this. I think, especially not traveling alone, I think that probably the reason that I'm struggling in this moment is twofold. One, just feeling like hyper aware of the wealth disparity, which we need to have a whole conversation about that. It's a bummer. Just tourism in Bali and how aware I am of it. That, and at the same time, like, you know, vlogging about it. I think if I were like not telling anybody, like if no one was watching me, I would just do it and I wouldn't feel responsible to like explain why, you know? But at the same time, every time I've done that, it has been a good choice. Like Obi, I did that with Obes in Philadelphia, 100% the best choice. It changed our entire trip. And I think I'm just aware of that at this point. So I think I only have to pay like one night's stay at the other hotel, which sucks to have to pay, but at the same time, like, my bad. I understand. So yeah, I'm gonna get unpacked because I feel comfortable doing that here. And then I'm gonna see what time it is and see how I'm feeling. I definitely need to edit the vlog. I ate at a weird time. I had like calamari and burrata at like 4, so I don't think I'm gonna be hungry for dinner, but I did make it to the grocery store for snacks. I only got one weird thing about the other hotels. They only had breakfast, and one of the comforts of the one in Ubud is that like if I have a bad dinner or if I don't get dinner or whatever, I always knew everything I needed was at the hotel. So like worst case scenario, everything would be okay, which I found incredibly comforting. And the other place didn't have that, so I was feeling like a lot of pressure. Like I ate at 4. If I go back to the hotel and then at like 8:30 I'm hungry, like am I gonna have to like wander around the city in the dark trying to find food? Like I don't want to do that. So then I was like, well, I'll stop and grab some like chips, I guess. So I definitely knew I wanted to stay somewhere that had like a restaurant that was open for all meals. But I did get snacks when I thought I was not gonna do that, and I got these seaweed flavored chips, which I'm way too full to try right now, but if I either today or tomorrow we'll try them. I love seaweed snacks and I just love seaweed in general, so I think I'll like them, but you never know, you know, how the texture could combine with the flavor and it just not work. And then it'll probably be time to talk to Obes soon-ish, probably not too long from now. And one of the things that I kept thinking when I was feeling like crying was that I really wish I could talk to Obi about it, because like that's who I call when I'm in those situations, having to make those kind of decisions, and he's so comforting and supportive that I just really like could have used his reassurance. But then I realized I knew what he would say, which was just like, do what you need to do, like do what's best for you. And I know he would love that first hotel, like that's like 100% his vibe. He would be obsessed with it, but he would be so supportive of me being comfortable, and I love having a partner like that. Someone asked recently, like, how does Obi feel about, you know, watching you via the vlogs? And, you know, I can't answer for him. I do know that, like, we miss each other a lot. We're, you know, it's hard to catch time to talk to each other, that, like, we're both kind of awake and active. Like, it's either right before someone goes to bed or right when someone wakes up. So we're both kind of, like, struggling. You know, he is, like, the most supportive person, like, undying support for all of the weird things that I want to do. And I really want to come back here with him. He really wants to come here, and we'll definitely do that, I'm sure. But at the same time, he's the kind of person who is just as happy for you to have an experience. Like he's as happy as if it's him having the experience, and it's cool. That's a cool vibe. That's a cool way to be a person, and definitely the kind of love that I always wanted. Girl's emotional. Dang. I think it's just like travel days, like getting accustomed to a new place, all of that, like it's just kind of taxing. you know? And so the veil of my emotions is very thin right now. I feel very exposed. But that's all right. Okay, really, I'm gonna go do the packing now. Seriously, unpacking. It is about 8 p.m. and I'm just sitting down to edit the vlog. Normally I do that like first thing in the morning. Or even early afternoon. This is weird for me. But you know, the day's been funky. So, but I'm totally unpacked, showered. The shower is like not the cleanest feeling thing in the world, but it's also inside, which feels lovely. And I feel like the cleanest thing in the world, and that is why we're here. So, no complaints about that. Right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and say goodnight because I'm just gonna edit this vlog. So, thank you for joining me on a roller coaster of a day. And see you tomorrow to see what we get into in Canggu. Bye.